Hi, I'm Laura Lloyd, Food Sanity Coach, and I want to talk to you today about that really awful bit when you step away from all of your restrictive food rules and you start trying to eat intuitively, you start trying to tune into your body wisdom, and that's the bit where you feel like you've taken the rules away and you don't know what the hell is going on. You're out of control. You're in free fall. And this is such a familiar phase of the whole process. And maybe it's the phase that puts people off actually doing the process. And I want to talk you through it today so that you don't feel like it's a reason to backtrack or say this isn't working for me. It's something you've got to go through until you get out the other side. So yesterday I got a voicemail from a really bold, courageous client I'm working with, and it was a plaintive voicemail, and it really touched my heart. And it said, "Laura, I feel a bit desperate. I did what you said. I was obsessed with food, so I tried to become aware of all my food rules and try not to operate according to all the things my head was saying. But I just feel out of control. I've eaten loads of carbs, loads of sugar, and I don't feel good in my body. I feel tired and bloated, and I don't know what to do next. Please tell me what to do." And this is for you, and this is for all of you who are attempting this courageous journey back to the body. You have to let go of the food rules if you're obsessed with food, because eating, when it works, and I bet you know a few people who can eat like this, they just don't need to think about it. You just know that's what you want, when you want it, and how much to have, and it's like an automatic little thermostat in the body that just goes, boom, blink, I'm full, I'm fine, it's all cool, I'm not going to think about it again until, hey, oh, I feel hungry again, and what do I fancy? And it should be an easy process, right? And for so many of us, it's not an easy process. We've become up in our heads, full of food rules. This is good, this is bad, this has so many calories, I'm allowed this, I'm not allowed that, I mustn't eat until then. All of this stuff, and actually it just drives us bananas. And we get obsessed, we feel depressed, unpleasured, we feel like we're failing all the time. And that's why I say to people who are stuck in binge eating cycles and yo-yo dieting cycles and trying to diet and fail, that the only way out of it is to step away from all of the rules and restrictions that you have around food. But when you do that, you feel like this lovely client of mine. You feel out of control. It's as though when you're dieting or when you're making up food rules and having little goals for yourself, making yourself promises, that you're holding on tight to an aeroplane that makes you feel like, it's okay, I can fly this food thing because I just hold tight and stay in control. And when you let go of all of the plane, of all the food rules, you're just in free fall and you don't know what's going to happen next, and it feels like you might eat anything in sight because it's a wide open free-for-all. There are no rules, so suddenly you can have all the things you couldn't have, and you might feel like eating all of the things you couldn't have, but when you do, you can't help it. The voice comes back in and says, but that's not healthy, and hey, maybe you're even putting on weight, and oh my God, what's going to keep me in check? And you're literally in free fall because there's no parachute yet. The parachute comes next. You have to go through this moment to get to the parachute. And the parachute is learning to choose what to eat, when to eat, and how you go about it, and even how much, in a way which is in tune with your body. So how are we going to get there? How are we going to pull the cord on that parachute when you've been out of touch with your body for a really, really, really long time? Well, the first thing is maybe to understand that when you want to eat and you get this feeling, I want to eat, this urge to eat, there are a lot of different voices, a lot of different stimuli in that conversation with yourself, right? It's like everybody's talking at once, and one person who's talking is your body saying things like, "Oh, I'm hungry," like actually physically hungry, actually my stomach's rumbling. Your body might also say, "I ate a bit much there, that feels a bit gross," or "I'm not really enjoying this thing I'm having," or "This is lovely." Your body might be saying lots of stuff to you like, "Oh, I actually feel quite stressed and emotional right now." Those are the kinds of things you want to be listening to. But it's really hard to hear those voices from your body because of all the other urges that you get to eat, which are all around you. And they're things like social cues to eat, like your work colleagues bring in a box of brownies and they weren't even in your head before they appeared there. Suddenly everyone's having one and it doesn't feel like that's really come from your body, but there it is, the urge to eat it. Or you're walking down the street and you see like a lovely big pretzel sign and you suddenly think, pretzel, I can't get pretzel out of my head, I've got to eat a pretzel. It's a kind of just a boom, a triggering of something right visually. Or I've even had it when I've been at the checkout in the supermarket and the person beside me's got like a box full of chalk ices, and they're like own brand chalk ices. They're like 50p for like 8, and I'm looking at them thinking, but they're so cheap and they're so yummy looking. Why don't I get those? And I'm thinking about those chalk ices for so long afterwards. I can't get it out of my head. All of these like ideas about what we should eat and when we should eat, they're just coming from us, that are actually nothing to do with those ideas from our body about what we're thinking and feeling and fancy and feels good in our body. So the parachute will be learning to listen to that voice of body wisdom speaking through the chatter, piercing that little voice through the chatter, like a mother penguin that can hear that one voice, which is her baby penguin, and find her way back to it with the food that she's been off to catch. How can she hear that when there are so many penguins around? But she can, and you can hear that one voice, which is your body. That's the one you want to listen to the most. It doesn't mean it's the only one you'll ever listen to, that you'll only ever eat when you're truly hungry and never eat when you want a bit of comfort or want to celebrate, or because your colleague's gone to the trouble to really bake those brownies themselves and you want to honour that. It's okay to sometimes eat away from the body wisdom and know that. You're a grown-up. It's not a new rule. You've got to only stick to your body wisdom. But really you want the body wisdom to be the main thing that's in charge. So you are making choices about what you eat. You're making choices, and it does involve your head. It's your head tuning into your body and making an evaluation and going with it or not going with it. That's okay, okay? So you are going to have choosing at the heart of this. So some people, I'm emphasizing this idea of choosing because some people think that intuitive eating or tuning back into your body involves no choice at all. So it's like you're a sort of cake eating zombie going, I just get whatever comes into my path. And that is not true. You don't have to respond to every urge that you have. You're going to educate your own integrity about easily making grown-up happy choices about food, but there is a choosing process and your head is involved in it. And how can I describe that choosing process as opposed to the intellectual process of following food rules? Well, the questions are different. So the choosing process of choosing food based on food rules is answering questions like this. Am I allowed it? How many calories does it have? Is it lunchtime yet? Did I eat so much yesterday that I have to compensate? How much exercise am I going to have to do to pay for that? Do I deserve it? Have I earned it? Can I do an economy here somewhere where I get to have it? Is there an excuse to the rule that means I'm allowed this yet? Is it healthy? Is it good? Am I good if I stick to this? Am I bad if I break this? These kind of rule-based diet mentality questions. Choosing in an easy, responsible, I trust myself kind of way asks a different set of questions that go back to your body, that go back to your real experience of food. Do I really want this? Do I just want it now and then I'm going to feel crap later? Do I want it a lot, or am I just feeling emotional, bored, la 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 la? Can I identify my emotions and let them flow? Is this what I really want, or just what's available to me right now? And I'm actually really hungry, but I'm not hungry for this. When I eat this, am I gonna feel good or feel a bit gross? And do I actually know that before I eat it, or do I need to taste a bit and then check in? What about how I'm going to feel energy-wise, bodily, after I've eaten this? Do I know that eating a big bowl of boiled potato at lunchtime is going to give me a big afternoon slump in a way that I don't want? So am I going to navigate around that and try and give myself something else? Is the substitute that I'm giving myself really pleasurable enough? Kind of questions that are really about how to satisfy my body, how to satisfy my emotions, and whether I really want stuff. Now, the questions that kind of will make you feel responsible are kind of about whether you really want it, like in the bigger picture. Does this really take me towards the food sanity that I need and the feeling that I need from food, or does it take me down another path? It's kind of like the responsibility that you have as a sexually active person. If you get to choose, and let's say you're free from any kind of religious views about whether or not you should or shouldn't have sex, then it's really a question of, do you fancy the person, and will you feel good about it later on emotionally? And so you don't have to sleep with everybody you're attracted to, because over the course of time, as you kind of get mature about it, you get to weigh up kind of immediate gratification and the ego hit of it versus the deeper desire in you for an emotional connection with the person that you have sex with. And I guess that's the kind of similar with food. Like, you get to weigh up immediate desire of eating some crap versus feeling better in the long run and more sane and more healthy, and kind of keeping the bigger and deeper desires in you as the bigger overriding force. But you can't delay your gratification all the time, or you end up kind of caving in, because you can't always sacrifice present pleasure in favor of the bigger picture. Sometimes you just need to enjoy your life now, and you need to balance that kind of the gratification you need on a day-to-day basis so that you're pleasured in your life and you don't feel deprived, and you don't feel like everyone's having more fun than you, and you don't feel like you're trying to force yourself to be a robot because it's like spiritually enlightened or the greater good of you or the higher you. It's not about that. You've got to be able to kind of do some of what's self-caring for you and some of what's like nice, because you can't have loads and loads of days putting the future you first. Do you see what I mean? And then let's just talk about that parachute one more time, what that kind of choosing skills you're going to learn as you go deeper down the path of learning to eat with your body wisdom in mind. You're going to explore how to choose intuitively what to eat. And with that in mind, if you like real food and you're feeling a bit crazy right now, why don't you go and make sure there's lots of real food around you, so that you're not constantly choosing crap just because you're allowed to choose crap, when actually you would also choose some really delicious real food if it was there to hand. You're going to choose how much to eat by getting really in touch with the physical sensations of fullness and hunger. You're going to choose when to eat by understanding a little bit about your metabolism and knowing when the times are in that your body can really make the most of your nutrition and really fully digest and assimilate your food. And you're going to start to be more choosy about how you eat. So you're going to stop thinking about always being like it's not all about what you eat, but eating at your desk, completely distracted, multitasking in a high stress situation and having to eat really fast. You're going to think about creating a lot more importance to taking a bit of space around food so that you get to check in with your body, to make it nice for yourself, to fully love it, taste it, concentrate on it, make it a bit more important. And those are the kind of skills that are going to build in a lot of awareness around food, a lot of awareness of your body and your emotions around food. And that is going to stop you needing all the rules. All of that awareness is what you can trust in, is going to let you trust yourself. But it takes time to build up, baby. And if you've just taken the plaster off the wound and you feel really raw right now, that's good. That's a good place to be. You're doing something different. You're in freefall and the parachute awaits. So hang on in there, keep flying and keep asking the right questions. Which voice in me is it that I should be listening to about choosing? Can I start to identify where the different messages are coming from? And are some of them, any of them, coming from my body? How can I listen to my body more? How can I have a sense of what I really want? And can I go with that a little bit? If you've liked this video, if it's been useful to you, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Get in there in the comment section, because I want to know what you're going through and what's useful to you. I make videos every week based on the questions that you ask me. And if you would like to ask me a question directly, there's a page on my website where there's a button you can press and you can actually speak to it, and it gives you a minute and a half to speak your heart out and ask me a question in absolute agony art style, and I will do my darndest to answer it deeply and properly and thoroughly. Because when I was struggling with food, nobody was providing this kind of free psychological nuts and bolts information, and it's here now, and I can't wait to share more of this stuff with you. So let me know what you need, and if this has helped you, like it, share it, subscribe to my channel, comment on it, discuss it, and get involved with this unshaming conversation around food. There need be no more shame. Let's have some food sanity.